everyone. I hope that you have enjoyed lesson one, and we are now about to begin lesson two. So now you already know what an intake session is all about if you finished up lesson one and you are ready to almost start with working with the families. Now, just remember that with the information that you received from the intake session, you are ready to create a spiritual program to help not only the child with the situation, but also with the family and to educate them. You may be told from the parents that they may not want this information, but believe me, they do. Whenever a family is involved in a crisis, a lot of times they cannot make, decisions, valid decisions without help. And so that is what you are there for, is to help in the situation and involve the parents as much as that you can. Remember that when you stop communicating, whenever the program is over, you want them to be able to utilize everything that you have given them, all the resources, all the tools that they can use to help their child grow in their spirituality. If you help one family and then you're going to help another family, it may not be the same type of program. Remember, every family will be different. Every situation will be different. If you help the family at one time and then you move on and they call you a couple of months later, it will be totally different situation. So just remember, what works for one family won't work for another family. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what we are going to do today and what we're going to talk about. Now, we're going to cover a lot of information. So if you need to take a break, that's why you have purchased this video. You can take a break and you can watch it as many times as you want, for fast forward or whatever. Everything that we're going to talk about is that all the terms, every exercise is supposed to be for a child, all right, or teenager, or, and also can work for adults, but I really wanted to center around children. All right, so this is what we're going to talk about. We are going to dive into terminology. We're going to see what an empath is, mediumship is, psychic clears, what an aura is, all the different chakras, and also discuss what spirit guides are. Then we're going to go into the next topic, which is focusing on energy. Children do very, very well with yoga and breathing techniques. So I'm going to recommend a couple of exercises that you can do with the children. Protection and being in control, such as smudging, using crystals, prayers, salt and water technique. Then we're going to talk about, which is my favorite topic, is expanding intuitive abilities through art. So we're going to look at it aura from a different point of view. All right. Color dictionary, how to create stories, develop spirit art, and dream journals. So we have a lot to talk about. So I hope that you're ready. Get something to drink, get a snack, and let's get started. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about what an empath is. All right, so intuitive empaths are believed to be a unique kind of empath that combines empathy, or the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, with instinct and perception. All right, so that is one definition. There are several definitions out there if you do your research. Now, this is only a couple list of how many different empaths there actually are. All right, so there's a psychic empath, and this is the feeling, the physical elements that other people are feeling. The emotional empath feel the emotions that others are experiencing. The intuitive empath senses and knows what others are feeling, emotions they are experiencing. The plant empath connects and feels the energy of nature. The earth empath attunes with earth and the universe as well. And they know about the weather. They can sense it. They can feel it. And whenever, we have different phases of the moon, they know it. And then there is an animal empath, which is, I think, awesome. So they can actually connect with animals and feel how they are feeling. All right, so let's go on to mediumship. Now, this is one definition of mediumship. All right. So Debbie said in the world of spiritualism, the term medium refers to a person with psychic ability to produce phenomena of a physical or mental nature by communicating with spirits. And again, as you do your research on what mediumship is, it will be completely different. Somebody might state it a different way or see it in a different way. Now, whenever we do look at mediumship, children are natural mediums and tend to connect with people who loved ones who have passed on. All right, so let's go into now moving along to see what a psychic is about. So, the psychic will form an energetic connection with another person to read information within a person's aura. And this is what I normally tell people, it's soul to soul connection. That's whenever I'm reading your aura and the information comes through that way. Where mediumship, you are actually connecting with a deceased loved one or someone who has passed on, and you're connecting with them directly. All right, so it is totally different. So, again, psychic is when you connect with someone who is living that's sitting in front of you and you connect with one another, soul to soul. Where mediumship, you're actually connecting with spirit. You're going straight to spirit and having that connection. And hopefully getting some good information that way. Okay. All right. So let's go on to the next slide. All right. So we are going to talk about the different clairs. All right. So, and I love this picture because this little girl is saying, I know, don't you know? I know. So people who use the claircognizant sense will know about ideas and incidents before they happen. The divine spirit guides or higher self may guide them this information as a way to guide them. So, a lot of times, in what is known about the claircognizance, is this is the first sense that a lot of children will pick up. And then as they develop the more the clairs, then this one will actually be the one that ignites the others. So it's almost like an extrasensory perception. All right, so let's go on to the next clair. All right, so the next clair is clairsentience. People who use clairsentience are perceiving information by feeling within the whole body and without any out stimulant related to the feeling or emotion. So children they use this clair quite a bit. They know whenever there is a stranger, they just have a feeling that there's something that's wrong with them. If the stranger is, got any type of aggression towards them, or, or wanting to hurt others, children will pick this up. They use it on a daily basis to navigate through, not only through life, but are able to feel which adults are safe to be around. Of course, which is kind of sad, as we get older, we stop thinking with our heart and begin to ignore the information that we get from this clair. All right, so in this way, we allow ourselves to be fed by outer world of ideals, beliefs, and images rather than live true to the essence. So we tend to, as we get older, we turn this off. All right, so the next clair is clairvoyant. And this is one that I'm also able to use. I love this one, especially if you're real creative. You may be stronger in this than you think, but it's considered clear vision. People will get intuitive information from visual images such as colors, pictures, symbols, or moving pictures as if you were watching a movie. Now, whenever children exhibit signs that they are using the clairvoyant intuition, they may report having really vivid dreams. They may see visions of lights or twinkling lights in front of their eyes, or may see other people's auras and have imaginary friends. And of course, like I said before, they will be very, very creative. So my question is, how many of y'all had create an imaginary friend? All right, so let's go on to the next one. All right, this is clairaudience. People who use the sense will perceive sounds, words, and extrasensory noise. The sounds come from the spiritual world or the ethereal realm in the form of inner ear or mental tone. And I just love this with the little baby trying to try to, not hear anything. So it's not an outer noise. It's something that you actually hear from inside. So people will be able to hear familiar voices of past family members or sounds that do not appear to be human. Dream discussions can also happen while sleeping. Children may not be able to stop. Uh, I'm sorry, may back up. Okay, children may not be able to sleep alone due to fears of hearing different things. People can hear footsteps when no one is around and may be experiencing ringing in the ears. Parents may experience their children having conversations with themselves or again with an imaginary friend. See how many times imaginary friend will come up whenever you're talking about children. All right, so let's go on to the next color. There are a couple more left. All right, so clairsent. Unlike physical senses, your psychic sense will operate using spiritual vibration. The aromas will be brought forth straight from otherworldly realms, memories, visions, and spirits. So whenever you are smelling it, it's like if you smell pie baking in the oven, you will not really have a pie in the oven. Sometimes spirit will give you that smell so that you remember a memory of a grandmother cooking a pie. You'll smell it, but it's actually kind of almost like a fathom smell. You're going, that really does not make any sense. So, this is very interesting too. So, people who smell wet dogs are often coming into contact with the dog that has been deceased. If you smell sulfur, though, all right, now I have done this in a very, very old home. If you smell sulfur or something that smells rotten, your clairsent might be trying to warn you of a dark entity that is nearby. So, see how all these clairs work together, not only to give you information, but to also protect you as well. All right, so let's go on to the next one. All right, so this is clairgustance. Hopefully, I pronounced that correct. You're able to feel tasting something physically without anything being in your mouth. Now, you might be able to sense how a tree, a flower, an object, or a place would taste, and whatever memory that it provokes. Okay, and that's again, spirit a lot of times will give you this type of sense whenever they're trying to give you additional information. Now, I found this very interesting. People who work in some sensitive people or psychics who work in law enforcement or forensics, they can sometimes benefit from having this clair. They may taste a chemical or a type of poison or something that killed the person that they're looking at, whatever case that they're working on. So I found that very interesting. So they might really know how the victim died by tasting some type of poison that this person actually ate. So I found that's an interesting. I wish I had that sense. See, some of these I do not have. You may not have all of these senses, and it is okay. It's whatever spirit needs you to have at the time so that you can get this information. All right, so let's look at clairtangency. Our auras carry our personal information, just like as a computer carries data. Our aura also carries our lifelong information. Okay, so whenever you touch something or whenever you own something, your energy will actually get onto this object. And people who are strong in this clear will not be able to wear clothing that have been worn by someone else or sleep in a bed that others have slept on before or be able to stay in a small cluttered space due to the energy left by others. And I can see where that this would be very difficult if you're staying in a hotel where others have stayed, or if you are getting hand me down clothes from a brother or sister. This may not work for you, especially or if you are very strong in this clair. All right, so the very last clair that we're going to talk about is clair empathy. Empaths are sensitive to the energetic vibrations of the emotions or physical illnesses of people. So whenever you are really strong in clear empathy, crowded places can lead to oversensory or emotional overload. Many intuitives with strong, clear empathy will be told that they are overly emotional or sensitive. And I know in high school I was told this quite a bit. And you know what comes along with being clear empathy as well? You become a people pleaser, and then you also attract people who are narcissistic. So here you're trying to be a people pleaser, and all of a sudden you're getting all these narcissistic people in your life. And so you need to know how to develop boundaries for protection and so that you can survive as an empath. And this is very, very important. And also, spending time out in nature or with animals can also replenish an empath's energy. All right. So hopefully, I hope that you learned from all the different clairs. And again, if a child doesn't have all these clairs and they just have the clear knowing, that's a perfect place to start. But it's very important to you understand about the different senses because you may have a child that is strong in one or two, and you may have a child that's strong in all of them. So it's really, and then you know how to help them with their psychic or mediumship abilities. All right, so now let's go on to an aura. What we're going to talk about the aura, and this is so fascinating. An aura is an electromagnetic energy that not only surrounds people but other living things. There are 7 layers in an aura that correlates with your spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional health. And a lot of the children are able to see colors of different energies that surround people. Now, as I go through the different auras, if the aura says that when I'm talking about a different layer and it says that it's a certain color, don't worry if the child is seeing it in a different way. So, like, again, sometimes people can be different. This is just the basis of it, okay? All right, so let's look at the different aura layers. All right, I'm going to put this up to screen so that you can see it. So I'm going to go through the different layers and I'm going to talk about what color it is and where it is whenever you're talking about from your body. So the first layer is the etheric layer. This layer is closest to your physical body and is correlated with the root chakra. The etheric aura represents the physical body, which includes the muscles and tissues. Now, it can be seen as a bluish gray in color. All right, so the second layer is the emotional layer. This layer is correlated with the sacral chakra and can be colors of the rainbow. Since it represents emotions and feelings, the color can be murky during stressful periods. I think that's so fascinating. I wish I could, again, I wish I could see. I do not have the gift of seeing the different colors and layers of auras. All right, so the third layer is the mental layer. Okay, this layer is correlated with the solar plexus chakra and is usually a bright yellow color. Thoughts, cognitive processes, and state of mind are associated with the mental aura. During a creative moment, this layer can develop sparks that flow through it. Woo! That is fascinating. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the fourth layer is the astral layer. And this layer is connected with the heart chakra and is usually pink or rosy in color. This is a place where we develop the astral cords that we connect with others. This layer will become stronger if we are in a healthy relationship in our life. All right, let's go into the fifth one. The fifth layer is the etheric template. This layer is connected with the throat chakra and can be a variety of colors. It is associated with the entire blueprint of your physical body on a higher spiritual plane, and it is your inner identity. And it includes your personality. All right, the sixth layer is the celestial. This layer is connected with the third eye chakra and is purely white in color. It represents the connection with the divine and other beings. When someone has a strong celestial layer, they are able to receive messages from angels and communicate with the spiritual world. All right, so let's look at the seventh layer, the Ketheric template. This layer is connected with the crown chakra and is gold in color. A person will feel one with the universe when this layer is strong. This layer contains information about past lives and about your soul. Oh my goodness. So that is so interesting. All right. Now we're going to dive into chakras, one thing after another. And yes, there will be a test at the end of this. Just kidding. No test, no test. Okay. So the chakras. A chakra means will and refers to the energy points to your body. They are thought to be spinning discs of energy that should stay open and aligned. As they correspond to bundles of nerves, major organs, and areas of our energetic body that affect our emotional and physical well being. All right, so whenever I meditate, a lot of times I will open up my chakras and I imagine them turning over and over and spinning. And I don't know if you have a certain sound, what spinning sounds like, but I actually have it in my mind so that I can actually hear the spinning of a chakra whenever I'm opening them up. Or not, they're all still open, but whenever I'm trying to work with them. Okay. So, why it is so important to teach children about the chakras so that they have an understanding of the energy flow throughout their whole bodies. So, if children are aware of this, of the different chakras, they will be able to communicate with their parents if they have a chakra that is out of balance. Yes, a lot of people can do this. I know when there's something that's not right. I know whenever my heart chakra is out of balance, I can feel it, especially when I'm meditating and I'm trying to relax everywhere and I'm going doing a body scan. I can feel it in my heart a lot of times. Okay, so the example is if a child's root chakra is unbalanced, they may feel fearful, they may be anxious, they may experience diarrhea or constipation, or they may become under or overweight and may complain about aches and pains in their legs. So they will, if they are taught, children will begin to trust in their intuition and knowing which chakras are flowing with energy and what chakras are being blocked. Okay. All right. I find it quite interesting, all this. Okay. So here is, I wanted to talk about a different kind of philosophy. And this can be confusing, but again, I know that we talked in lesson one about the different age levels of when a child psychic energy or whenever their development goes through with their age. It's very important that you kind of know a little bit of everything, especially when you're looking at the age of a child and where they are developmentally spiritually. Okay. So, with this new philosophy, all right, and this is quite interesting if you want to do some research on it. So, according to this type of philosophy, and it's mainly just talking about chakras, that we move through a 7-year cycle of each chakra centers. Okay. So that means that by the time you're 49 or so, that's when everything has developed. So it takes a lifetime. Now, again, it depends on where the child is spiritually. Everybody is a different level. Now, we will have one dominant chakra for each cycle. Each cycle begins with the root chakra, which starts with fear and ends with the crown chakra, which is spirituality. Okay, and on the bottom of the slide is where I found this information, and later on I will share with you where you can get the whole chart. And so I'm going to go through the chart with you so that it makes better sense. Okay, so let's talk about the first 7 year cycles. Okay, so the first cycles is ages 1 to 7. A child will go through the following cycles with the dominant chakra being fear, which is the root chakra. Okay, so with age 1, you're working with fear plus fear, which is the root chakra with the root chakra, okay? And you're actually working with surviving, is the main thing that you're working on. All right, so age 2, you're working with the root chakra and the sacral chakra, and you're working on feelings. And what your main objective that year is awakening of feelings like I want. You will discover what you want and what you don't want. Age 3, you'll be working with fear and proactivity, which is the root chakra and the solar plexus chakra. You will be working with having an active discovery of the world, asking, what is that? Now, I know that a lot of people have been around 3 year olds. Who has not experienced a 3 year old asking questions with what in it constantly? All right, so let's look at age 4. You're working with fear plus harmony, which is the root chakra with the heart chakra, and you are working with happiness of socializing, and your body is being stabilized. Age 5, you're working with, yeah, believe it or not, philosophy, which is the root chakra and the throat chakra. So this year, you're working with happiness of socializing. I'm sorry, I just said that before. This year, you will be working with attempts to understand the world. All right, so then on age 6, you'll be working with wisdom, fear plus wisdom, which is the third eye. So you'll be working with first experience and teaching others. So at age 6, you'll be learning a lot of lessons this year, and you'll be wanting to teach others all about it. So on age 7, whenever you're working with fear plus spirituality, you're working with the crown chakra. And this is craving for mysteries and the unknown. So you're really looking into things that sometimes might be paranormal. It's the unknown and you don't know much about it. So you get very curious about that. So hopefully that helped about the first 7 years, and we're going to go on. But on the very bottom of the slide, you can see the whole chart there. It is actually in Russian, but you can change this chart into being in English. Okay. All right. I wanted to go on and show you this next one, and it's the second cycle, and it's ages 8 through 14. So whenever you were 8, okay, now the main chakra that you'll be working on is actually with the sacral. Okay, so you're moving up, and as you can tell on the chart here. So with age 8, you're going to be working with feelings and fear. So the whole year you'll be working on misunderstanding of new desires and awakening of hormones. And that interesting at age 8. Age 9, you'll be working with your feelings and feelings, okay? Which you may have your first love. You may feel like your feelings are out of control. You may not really understand them. Okay. So age 10, proactivity again. All right. So you'll be working with establishing relationships with the opposite sex. So you're kind of getting more and more interested. Okay. All right. So age 11, you'll be working with harmony, and you'll be having friendships in different forms. So not only will you have friendships with girls, you'll have friendships with boys, and you may actually have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. All right, so age 13, you're working with wisdom. So your understanding of the difference between the sexes and your interest in studying with philosophy of friendship and love. So you're getting very philosophical here. Maybe that's when a lot of people start looking at poetry, right? Love poetry. All right, age 14, you're looking at spirituality with feelings. So, at attempts of spiritualization of the relationship with other people, possibly in a poetic way. So, you're beginning to find people that believe in the same things that you believe in. All right. So, and I thought this would be real interesting since you may be working with a 15-year-old and 16-year-old. This is what they'll be working on for the following year. 15 years of age, fear of love, fear of the future, fear of studying away from home. So you got a lot of fears that you're working on. At number 16, and it's a sweet 16, the time of engagement is an active form of love, a relationship, the age that one is first able to find pleasure. Okay, so again, that's a very interesting type of philosophy, and it does go with the ages and with the developmental of spirituality. So I found that very interesting. All right, so let's look at the chakras once again. Let's kind of tie it in all together. So you have, of course, starting with the base chakra, and which is the root chakra. And the root chakra influences your survival instincts, gives you determination, power, and physical strength. It begins to develop when a child, and of course, well, we've already talked about that, between 1 and 7 years of age. Now, your sacral or your spleen chakra connects us to others through feeling, desire, sensation, and movement. It also impacts our ability to be joyful, creative, and compassionate. It also governs sex and reproductive energy and develops from the ages of 8 to 14 years of age. Now let's move on up. The solar plexus, which is it is represented by the color yellow and gives us the personal power, social identity, influence, self control, joy, inner harmony, and inner strength. And this usually develops around the ages of 15 through 21. Now let's look at the heart chakra, and it's represented by the color green. The function of the heart chakra gives us unconditional love, harmony, forgiveness, healing, compassion, understanding, personal transformation, and selfishness. It gives us the ability to accept love from others and to give love to others. And this one usually develops around 21 to 28 years of age, if you're still looking at that same philosophy. Okay, the throat chakra is represented by the color blue. This chakra's function is to give voice to the heart and allow us to speak about our authentic self. It is related to communication and creativity. So it usually develops between the ages of 29 to 35 years of life. So if you feel like you were not an artist when you were younger, don't give up. Okay, you've got time. All right, so the third eye chakra is represented by the color indigo. The function of this chakra, it gives us inner vision, intuition, clairvoyance, insight, perception, imagination, projection of will, and manifestation. And so you will usually, it's also considered the gateway to the soul. When the chakra is open, you experience a spiritual wisdom and enlightenment. And that's what we all strive for. And it will usually develop between the ages of 36 to 42. All right, now let's look at the crown chakra, which is the very last one. And it's represented by silver, gold, white, and violet. And the feminine energy of creation is the color silver. The masculine energy of creation is gold. And truth and clarity are the colors white and violet. So, this is the combination of the divine connection. We are able to reach a timeless spiritual world where we are able to have clarity and wisdom. And usually, this will develop between the ages of 43 and 49. All right. So hopefully you've got something to drink. You need some caffeine. So those were all the chakras, the auras, the different clairs. Okay. So now we're going to go on to a topic that I found, again, very fascinating about spirit guides. Now, this is just a very short list. Okay. A lot of people, whenever I was doing the research, I was going, oh, I never heard about that when you have those as spirit guides. Or if you look at the different angels, there are so many different angels that can be your spirit guide. I am not going through that whole list. So, in children, what do? A lot of times, angels will connect with them because they are so open. So, if you're the child that you're working with, if they are able to connect with an angel, then I would do some research on angels to see which kind of angel that they're connecting with, because there are all so many different angels and different names. Okay. So, and again, what I just said is many children have visits from angels when they are very young. These children describe them as bright lights and colors, feeling, they get that feeling, that sensation of love, and will sometimes frequently see them in human form. These guides have higher and purest vibrations. So, whenever you are working as a medium, even as a psychic, if you're trying to get your vibrations up there, you have to really get up there. And sometimes when your ear will start ringing. And a lot of times that's when your angels are trying to help your frequency get up to their level. Okay. So, you just never know. Um, Okay, so they have not walked on the earth plane before, or they are considered protectors and also messengers. Your guardian angel stays with you during your lifetime. All right, so this is just an awesome thing to have. All right, so ascended masters. These guides are considered to be spiritual teachers and healers. So, Jesus, Buddha, and Mother Mary are just a couple of names that are considered to be ascended masters. They have gained knowledge from being reincarnated and have walked on the earth plane. So, Christian Pearson, author of Knowing, Living with Psychic Children, discusses how her son would tell her that he would visit with Jesus before he was born. And he really missed seeing him. And his mother's going, we never really talk about Jesus. How do you know? And he began to draw pictures of Jesus. Of course, from a child point of view of his ability to draw. And so she was very fascinated, but he really missed Jesus. He was able to talk to him before he was born. So I love these stories. Okay, let's talk about the elders. The elders are known to have your life's contract and understand every bit of it. They also helped you create your life's contract. They will choose not only spirit guides that will help you during your lifetime, but also souls that will intertwine with you during your life's journey. So you will have the same elder guide throughout your lifetime. All right, so let's talk about master guides. You may have lived many lifetimes with your master guide. You chose the master guide that will help you achieve and learn your lessons, especially during this lifetime. They will never make a decision for you, but will be there to assist you in your journey. Now, your higher self, and I really did not know that this could be a spirit guide. And when I first started my developmental classes to increase my abilities, the one thing that kept coming up was my higher self. And I just knew that was one of my spirit guides. And so, what this is part of you that is connected to the divine. Tapping into your higher self can bring spiritual knowledge and is a powerful tool. It may feel that you are using your intuition whenever you tap into your higher self. But whenever you do, it does. It just seems like, I guess, a familiar energy. I don't know, but I really connected to my higher self whenever I first started um, working with my abilities. All right, so spirit animal guides, and a lot of people out there talk about this. These are guides that show themselves as animals and are connected to the energy of Earth. A spirit animal guide may represent your personality. All right, so like if you keep seeing a bear, a spirit animal guide may be showing you that you have a gentle personality and that you can stand up for yourself. Okay. A bear, I don't know, would be very gentle, but it can definitely protect themselves, and they're very powerful creatures. Spirit animal guides are ascended beings and vibrate at a very high rate. They offer guidance and protection. And I find it very fascinating that people that are very connected with nature, of course, they have a animal spirit guide. And I'm not for sure if I have one. If your child doesn't have one, I would not worry. A lot of people worry, well, why don't I have a spirit animal guide? The thing is, everybody is living their own contract and have different guides for different reasons. And some guides come and go. So you just trust the process, I guess I would say. All right. So now, another thing that we need to think about is whenever a child has an imaginary friend, again, we're bringing this up again, right? Because we are working with children. If they are talking to an imaginary friend, yes, that could be their spirit guide as well. All right. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. So, what we're going to do next is we're going to go into a different section, and we are going to talk about how we can have children focus on their energy. And once they focus on their energy and different things that they can do, they can increase their abilities. Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about next. And my favorite topic of all times is yoga. Yoga benefits. And I actually, believe it or not, my abilities actually got stronger as I did. And this was in my 30s. I did a lot of yoga. And I wish I continued it, but the place that I was going to actually shut down. But these are the yoga benefits, especially for children. They learn how to feel the different energies that are around them. In the very beginning, whenever they are feeling energy, they may think it's just one energy, but it's actually you're feeling different energies, and they'll know how to tune in to those different energies. They will learn how to ground themselves through yoga. They will learn how to balance their chakras. So if they have something that's out of balance, they'll be able to balance that chakra that they need to concentrate. And then they'll learn how, that should be how, my goodness, my typing here. They learn how to breathe. So they will learn how to breathe in a correct way, because a lot of times we don't use all of our lungs when we breathe. And so a lot of people get real tense and you don't use it. I know when I was going through yoga, they took an x-ray of my lungs and they go, wow, you've got huge lungs. And I said, yep, it's that yoga. So there are so many benefits of yoga. All right. So, right here, so we use yoga asanas as a springboard for exploration of many other area animal adaptations and behavior, music and playing instruments, storytelling, drawing, and our time together became a truly interdisciplinary approach to learning. And Marcia was a yoga teacher who has taught children's yoga. And you don't, whenever you teach children yoga, you don't want to teach them as an adult would learn. You want to have it fun, you want to have it creative. And, and if they can't get into a certain yoga pose, you can always adapt it. But make it fun and so that they don't feel like, they have to do something. So what I'm going to do is oh my goodness, I was doing this research and I found a wonderful website and I hope that you go to it. But it's Kids Yoga Stories. And the founder of this website, Giselle Charlot, has created so many different fun things, not only with yoga, but also with breathing exercises. And she's got tons. And so this would be a great resource for you to use. So I'm just going to show some different yoga poses that she has developed and the mantras that will go with it. And again, if you go to her website, you can see so many more. So let's go ahead and get started. So here are different chakra yoga poses that you can use with children. All right, so the tree pose, and my goodness, I wish I could do this one. So whenever the child does a tree pose, this helps with the root chakra. And you can tell them whenever you're doing it, tell them to say, I am secure. All right, so here's the second one. This one is the warrior two pose, and it helps the sacral or the spleen chakra. And go ahead and have them state, I enjoy my life. The half moon yoga pose helps solar plexus chakra. And the affirmation, I am confident. So you can see just by looking at the affirmations that it will really help with self-esteem and help with anxiety and really help them think more positive. Now here is the puppy yoga pose. It helps the heart chakra. Here's the affirmation. I am kind. Okay. And here's a bridge pose. It helps the throat chakra. I am creative. And then I love this one, legs on the wall pose. And this helps the third eye chakra. I am open minded. All right. And the last one, oh, I just love this, especially after going through a whole class of yoga. This is resting yoga pose that helps the crown chakra. And the affirmation is, I guess it should read, I am peaceful. Oh my goodness. All right, so that hopefully you will enjoy doing these yoga poses with the children. In the very beginning, you may have to go step by step, but the older that they are, the easier it will become. And again, just make it very, very basic. All right, so those are all those fun yoga poses. Now let's talk about breathing techniques. Now, whenever our instincts, when we begin to get scared, and we tend to stop breathing, freeze, or we run away, and that is just something that we are born with. And so instinctively, we want to just run away and get out of there. So teaching children how to breathe, having different breathing techniques, will enable them to know how to breathe, they'll bring that out of their toolbox. And when they get scared, they'll go, okay, I got to stop. I've got to practice on my breathing. And things will actually be better for them. They'll know those strategies and they can pull them out and they'll work on it, and their self esteem will actually increase in their abilities. So once these breathing techniques become an automatic response when dealing with supernatural events, these children will be able to calm themselves down. You can teach these breathing techniques to children as they complete yoga poses, or you can use different items. And I know that there's so many different items in the house that you can use, but you can use like feathers, you can use a pinwheel, you can use bubbles. So I'm going to show you different ways that you can teach children different breathing techniques. All right, so here are some breathing techniques that were developed by Kids Yoga Stories. And Giselle has developed so many breathing techniques. This is just a couple of them, okay? She has a vast library on her website. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about each breathing technique, and I'm going to explain how to do them. And you may want to take time from the video and also practice this technique so that you can teach the child that you're working with. So let's go to loving kindness breath. So children should sit comfortably either in a chair or on the floor. Have them tune into their breathing. Take a deep breath and release the breath in 5 counts. During the next exhale, have them think of filling themselves with love and imagine the color red extending through their bodies. On the next exhale, have them send love and kindness to someone that they know. Then on the next exhale, have them send love to someone that they are having a difficult relationship with. On the final exhale, have them send love to the world that surrounds them, that includes the animals, plants, and people in the community. Now, woodchopper breath is a little bit different than sitting there quietly. So children should stand tall in the mountain yoga pose and take a few deep breaths. Then have them spread their feet wide, clasping their hands together in front of their body and lifting their hands above their heads as like they have an axe, right? Then they should take a deep breath, and as they exhale, with their mouth open, bend down and swing their hands between their legs. Bending down, they should release all of their tension from their body. Tell them to pretend to be a wood chopper who is chopping wood for a fire. Repeat as many times as you need to release the stress and the extra energy that these kids have, right? So let's go on to bee breath. This exercise should begin with the children sitting comfortable with a tall spine. Their shoulders should be back. Tell them to close their eyes. Take a few breaths to calm and center the body. Their breath should be done through the nose and the mouth should be closed. As they exhale, tell them to make the sound like a bee would. They can imagine that they are a bee flying through flowers. The children can cup their ears with their hands to get a louder audio effect. All right, so now let's do the deep belly breath. And if you can see that picture, there's actually a little bear sitting on that person's tummy. Okay, so the deep belly breath. This breathing exercise is also known as yogic breathing, which is the foundation of yoga practice. The children need to get into a comfortable upright position in a chair or on the floor. They can also choose to lie on their back in a resting position. Ask the children to place their right hand onto their belly and their left hand onto their chest. Then they need to take a deep breath while counting to 4 and exhale through their nose while counting to 4. Their lips should be closed. Tell them to feel and concentrate on the motions that their belly and chest does during the exercise. If they are lying on their backs, they can place a stuffed animal on their belly so they can also watch the motions. As the children complete the deep belly breath exercise, they can think of things that they are grateful for. Now, the flower breath. Children should find a comfortable sitting position while closing their eyes and tuning into their breath. Tell the children to imagine that they are holding a flower and to visualize the flower's color. Then they should think of how the flower smells. As they take a deep breath in, tell them to pretend to smell the flower. As they exhale the breath, tell them to pretend to blow the flower petals. This exercise teaches children how to become aware of their breath. You can also tell the children to pretend that they are drinking a cup of hot chocolate. As they breathe in, tell them to imagine to smell the hot chocolate. As they breathe out, tell them to imagine them cooling the hot chocolate by blowing it. And again, you can do these exercises. I try to talk slowly so you could practice through the whole thing. All right, so now some children may be very kinesthetic, which means they learn by doing or they learn by putting things in their hands. It's like children know when they build something, they learn more about it than just listening to what you're trying to tell them. So it's called kinesthetic learning. And we're going to go through the breathing techniques just as we did for the others. So, and I'm going to show you some of the techniques. Now, the first one, Hoberman sphere, which is so much fun. And I actually have one. So I'm going to go ahead and put this right up here so you can see it. All right. So you'll have to purchase one of these at the store if you're going to do this sphere one. So this was actually created in 1990, if you want to know a little history about toys. All right, so what they can do is they can unfold and expand and contract the ball as they breathe, okay? So as the children breathe in, they expand the ball and out, and that ball outward, and then as they breathe out, it goes in. It's almost like your lungs. This visually illustrates what is happening to their chest as they breathe in and out. So let's do it. So I'm going to breathe in. And then almost tried to explain. And then I'm going to breathe out, but I couldn't talk. So I'm going to do it one more time. So that is a lot of fun if you have that. And then you can do this, play with it different ways. All right. So another way to teach a breathing technique is with bubbles. So the children will just learn how to, and then blow gently through the bubble wand. Because a lot of times they'll blow too much into the wand and the bubble won't form. So they really learn how to take their time and breathe very slightly. All right, so then we have straw breathing. And what straw breathing is, you give the child a straw and you have them suck in while the straw is in their mouth. Then have them breathe out through the straw. This exercise teaches them how to use their diaphragm to breathe. This is actually, I believe speech therapists also use this to teach the children how to talk and how to breathe, because the more you talk, the more you need to breathe. So maybe that's what I need to do now. So, and ocean breathing is so much fun. Tell the children to imagine an ocean wave rolling towards them as they breathe in. As they breathe out, they need to imagine the ocean waves rolling out to the sea. Now, color breathing, as the children take a breath in, tell them to imagine a beautiful color filling their lungs that represents happiness, joyful, and calmness. As they breathe out, tell them to imagine the color that represents stress, anxiety, or fear leaving their body. I love that one because they can always work on that whenever they're having an anxiety attack or they get stressed from feeling energy that they don't understand. You can tell them, breathe that color in that you feel will relax you, and breathe out that awful color that you don't want anymore. Here's a couple more kinesthetic exercises, and this is very visual. So it's almost like a game too. I could see you could turn this into a game. So you see that start button for the triangle. So the children would breathe in for 3 counts, and then they would hold that breath for 3 counts, and then they would breathe out for 3 counts. So it's the same basically on the other one, but they're not counting. Okay. You just hold, you breathe out, you breathe in, you hold. And they can put their finger on wherever they are on the shape. And that just kind of helps them visually as well, practicing that breathing and being more aware of it whenever they breathe. Okay, so I love this part. An energy ball, or what is called a chai ball. Okay, so, and I'm going to explain how you would make it. But when children feel energy all around them, creating an energy ball will power them because they're actually going to feel in their hands. So, to create an energy ball, children should sit in a comfortable position. And I'm going to make myself bigger so I can show you. Okay, so I want to get in a comfortable position. They need to take a few deep breaths to relax and calm their minds. Okay. Then I'm going to rub my hands together, and I'm going to spread them apart like shoulder length. Oh gosh, you can't see that. Shoulder length. And then I'm going to bring my hands in together. And you really have to concentrate on the energy. Some children may need to close their eyes. And when they start feeling that resistance, they can feel that ball and say, I feel resistance right there. So I'm going to stop. Okay. And it's so interesting that you can feel it. Then ask them to make a ball a certain color. So what I want to do is I want to do the color blue is what is coming to mind for calmness. And so I'm going to color mine blue. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold it like this and push it into my heart chakra. And tell them to wait a few minutes. And you can actually feel the energy enter your body. Okay. So this, and whenever they do this, they can say, I give myself love and I am grateful for who I am. So whatever they're grateful for. Or you can actually, say the intention may be, I give love. So whatever the intention is, you can do that as well. But again, I did my ball blue. So I think my intention was, I am not stressed or I am happy, right? So those are a lot of the breathing techniques. Let me go ahead and remove this. Now, whenever they go through yoga, they will actually be learning certain breathing techniques, and then you can teach breathing techniques separately, and that will actually lead into meditation, right? And so, breathing techniques equal meditation. And the benefits of meditation are reduce anxiety, it improves the self esteem, it definitely increases the focus and concentration, and it also improves sleep patterns. So if a child is having a difficult time sleeping at night, the meditation will actually help them calm their mind down. Okay, but it does take some practice, just like the breathing techniques. You've got to do it on a daily basis. All right, so here are some breathing techniques with meditation, some pointers that you may want to use. So when working with a child, if you are working with a toddler, breathing for 30 seconds with eyes closed is good enough. Okay, so if the child just sits, you're just kind of starting step by step what meditation is all about. Then age 3 through 6, you can tell them a story as they close their eyes and they concentrate on their breathing. You can tell them a story and have them visualize the story as you tell it. At age 7, you can have guided meditations and record, and they can listen to it recording. And then age 12, you can add that music in there. Now, what they usually recommend is the duration for meditation is 1 minute per year. So if you are working with a 7-year-old, you only need to have them meditate for 7 minutes. And a lot of times, parents will do this before they go to bed because, again, it slows their mind down. They're not overthinking things, and it really calms them down, it relaxes them, and helps with their sleeping patterns. Okay. So you don't want a 7-year-old sitting for 20 minutes trying to meditate because the child will get frustrated and not want to do it. But on YouTube, there's so many videos that children can watch as they do meditation. And they may even do it with a YouTube video than with a parent. But there again, it's a whole new library that you can use on YouTube, and the children will really enjoy it. It's almost like watching the dancing videos. Whenever you're watching a dance and you learn and you're doing step by step with them, it's the same thing with the yoga. But again, I mean, for me, 20 minutes is a long time. Some days, if I get 10 minutes in, I'm doing very well. So for a child, you really don't need to push it. You can show the parents how to do it step by step so that they have a plan into place. This concludes the second lesson on parent training for psychic children, part 1. Please join me for part 2 as we will cover protection and being in control and expanding intuitive abilities through art.